participating in this investor call with the management of 3i Infotech. We have Thompson sir and Sanjay with us, who are the leadership team of 3i Infotech, and Varika as well, who is a company secretary. So we will be quickly, running through our achievements over the last few quarters, and discussing how we've come along and how we plan to achieve whatever we've promised, whatever we've committed over the next few years. So that being said, Thompson sir, over to you for your opening remarks, and then maybe we can open soon after Thompson sir's comments, we can open the floor for question and answers. I request you to please raise your hand if you have a question. We will take your name, and accordingly you can go ahead and ask your question. Yes, Thompson sir, over to you.
Thanks, Snyder. Good morning, everybody. And thanks a lot for joining this investor call. Yesterday we had our AGM, and in fact, the first AGM for the new 3i. It's a very important moment for all of us, for the new management. And with that, we've also yesterday we kind of summarized on where we have reached from where we started, and also the kind of challenges which we face and how we intend to overcome as well. So it's been an exciting journey so far, and an exciting period this year as well. But this year, in fact, it's different, with a lot of forces working in terms of headwinds which we have in the industry overall, global economy, and the macroeconomic issues which are facing. But we are very positive as a challenger. We see opportunities there, and we are very quickly trying to see how to reshape our strategy to try and see how to leverage this and convert these challenges into opportunities. So with that, what I would do is, maybe it will be better for us to make use of the time more interactively. So I would rather be open to take more questions, and we could probably interact, if that is okay with everybody.
Thank you, sir. So I believe each one of you have got have been sent communication collaterals, including the 2-pager and the investor presentation, and have we understand that perhaps you've also gone through it. Basis that, if anyone has any question, we will be more than happy to take your questions and make this discussion more two ways rather than one way. So that being said, please raise your hand, and accordingly, we will take your questions. Yeah, Siddharth. We'll wait for a moment for. Yes, Mr. Prabhu, please go ahead. You can unmute yourself and go ahead with your question.
Yeah, thanks for organizing this call with the management, and I highly appreciate it. And let me just begin with a few questions. It's a very minor thing, but still, the outstanding stock options, it is given as 9 crore in the annual report, latest one. I presume it is not adjusted for the scheme of arrangement. Can you just confirm how much is outstanding stock options? That's the first clarification.
Okay.
If you can see our annual report, I think in the annual report we have given that.
Yes, it is given as 9 crore and 60 lakh.
Correct. So these are options which have been issued. These are not vested or exercised. So these are outstanding, and as the period goes by, based on whatever is the performance of this respective individual. Accordingly, it will get vested, and accordingly, it will get to the credit of the particular associates.
And also, it is not adjusted to the.
Absolutely, it is not adjusted right now.
That is the most important question, because it's like our equity capital itself is like a.
It's not part of the equity capital, right?
Yeah, it is not adjusted to the.
Okay.
So now what we are doing to that question for everybody, including myself, everybody, all of us are getting letters amending what was issued vis-a-vis to post the what do I call the capital reduction.
Okay, that is one thing. And then the other thing, the presentation recently, until last quarter, you used to post the presentation in the website. But for the past few meetings, I can't see the presentation being posted anywhere. It is like I can see the transcript, everything, but not the presentation associated with this meeting. Even for this meeting, I haven't received the presentation.
Okay, now this meeting, I don't think we prepared one. For the regular quarterly calls, we make a presentation. I'll take the feedback. Maybe it's.
The last call, it was not posted. So that is just another minor thing, actually, before we go on to the other things, actually, that I wanted to highlight. Okay, Mr. Thompson, actually, the questions that I have in mind, okay, if it's too many, you can just stop me so that I can join the queue later. Okay, the first thing, we have launched the Sovereign Cloud and Center of Excellence in Tirunelveli. Can I just consider that the upfront cost for setting up all these things is over, and henceforth, it's going to be only like when we onboard customers, we'll be spending cash, or it is still like the process is still ongoing?
No, it's a great question, Prabhu. Thank you for asking that, because I'm also happy that investors are understanding our strategy. I'm very happy towards that, because if you look at it, we have had capitalization in our last year as well, and we continue to invest in a lot of the build strategies. To these two specific projects, a very pointed question. We have already invested, we have gone live. Now we are into the operating mode right now, even for Malaysia's concern. And we have a business plan we are pursuing with it. We are working very closely with Oracle and the Malaysian government and our teams on the ground. We have made some organization changes as well, because see, this particular go-to-market is very different from your classic B2B enterprise sales, which we are attempting to do. So that will be now, getting more revenues for us. Simple answer to your question. I think we have invested on the basic capex. Now it's really for the operating organizations to deliver that. Coming back to the Tirunelveli as well, great question. I'm glad to report to you, because in fact we were factoring more time for our young graduates out of this COE to mature. Now, as I'm speaking to you, most of them are maturing much faster, and they will be what do I say, commercial ready very quickly. And that will also put pressure on us to start getting to phase 2 of Tirunelveli, and the break even also will be starting to happen faster. And finally, also, this is a good template which we want to replicate. So these two are templates, like Malaysia and Tirunelveli are templates. We want to learn from them, and then once we're successful, we know how to break even quickly. We will replicate this across service lines and geographies as well.
Should I wait for, is there anybody else waiting on the queue, or should I?
I think there are a lot of hands. Maybe we'll give an opportunity to them and we'll come back to you.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you. Harpreet, please go ahead with your question.
Mr. Thompson, I have a couple of questions. First of all, I want to talk about the business updates. If any product to be launched in the 5G category, and any other center of excellence to be open in other part of India, and what about Indian sovereign cloud? So if you can answer all this.
Yeah, thanks, Harpreet, and I'm very happy again. You're following us very closly and you're asking me very pointed questions. Thank you for that. So the first thing is, as you remember, we have launched the IIT Tech Park, hub in IIT Madras, which is focused on the next generation technologies, which is predominantly into the edge computing space, which you want to, move into. And the starting point of that is the 5G. As we are talking right now, we are building our 5G lab as a service, as a product. And to refresh your memory, we made strategic investments in a US Silicon Valley company called Axiom, which is the core technology which we are building. Because of the partnership, we are building our own IP on top of it. So the first product which will be rolled out will be 5G lab as a service. which we are working right now on the XCM core, which will be our own branded product. And we want to also try and see partner with some of the telcos internationally as well, not just limiting to India, and try and see how we can offer interoperability testing, 5G product testing, and all that. So it's a very interesting, line we are moving. And secondly, also this will also expand into SD-WAN also, because the important thing, the same core can be used for SD-WAN and private networks. So this is a great opportunity. As I'm talking to you, we are trying to run some. See, nobody's going to trust us with a new project immediately, right? We are a brand new player. So we are trying to do some try and buy kind of stuff with some known enterprises, especially in the manufacturing areas and the non-BFSI space on the SD-WAN and private networks. These are 2-3 new tracks you will come to hear very quickly once we are successful with the beta trials, and we will go commercial for sure on this very quickly. We are trying to see if we can quickly do the beta trials by Q3, and by Q4 we want to be commercial, because the core product is available anyway with us. We are only building the wrappers around it, if I may put it, Harpreet. That is one. The second area to your question is also we want to replicate some of this COE success in Oracle COE. We want to expand it even more deeper. Today, for example, we are looking at Oracle OCI Cloud, application like on EBS. We want to now say, can we put automation COE in Oracle? Say, for example, automation on Apex, because there's a huge market for legacy Oracle systems across the world. And with recession hitting right now, nobody's going to invest more CapEx today. Everywhere, customers are saying, boss, please tell me what you can do around my core systems. So we see a big opportunity in the Oracle space because it's one of the largest legacy bases in the world, if you ask me, whether it is automation or the cloud, or even data lake, say kind of data lake in a box, or we have some reference customers and we are building that. Those are the areas we are now trying to strengthen the COE as well, Harpreet. Thirdly, what we want to do is we have launched our telecom vertical. 5G is horizontal, but telecom as a vertical, we are launching it. We have brought in the senior team members as well. And we want to launch 2 things. One is, what can we sell to telcos, which is where telcos are customer, just focus on the enterprise IT and the, I don't want to focus on the network side, just to be clear. We want to stay focused on the network, enterprise IT and application. We are exploring setting up a COE in Mumbai, similar to Tirunelveli immediately for the telco space, because we see some potential there in the OSS, BSS and all the standard stuff, and also on the horizontal ERP side as well, which will get us the bread and butter business. The second is work with the telcos to sell through them for their SMBs and enterprise customers, which is something we want to leverage the Malaysian experience. We are talking to a few telcos, especially even in Africa right now. I'm talking to you, we are on a kind of an MOU, and Europe as well. We are trying to figure out how we can use their infrastructure to launch our own Nure 3i, or of course they will push us to make it white label, and then drive our products like Nure Edge and Nure Desk to their SMB customers. So those are the quick updates which we are working in this Q3, if I may look at it as focus areas.
Any plan to launch India Cloud?
India Cloud, very tempting, to be very honest, but the problem is, we want to see first some success in Malaysia. We want to learn from it, but we want to launch. As I'm talking to you, we have some designs on Edge Cloud. So India, we don't want to see. India is a huge capex intensive geo, right? I don't think we are ready for it. So what we want to do is definitely for sure we want to try out an Edge Cloud, Harpreet. In our labs in IIT Madras, we are trying to simulate the Edge Cloud. At least the Edge Cloud, we can do. Say Edge Cloud is, for example, we are talking to Oracle. They have that anyway, the public cloud in Mumbai today. It's the data centers in Mumbai. We are just trying to see, can we create an Edge Cloud in, say, UP, for example, and then try and focus on some niche areas. We're just trying to figure out, it could be even the drones, agri-tech. We're trying to run some trials in US as well on the agri-tech with some partners. Maybe we can try that, but it's still learning stages, I would say. I won't say in Q3, maybe in Q4, we'll try and figure out that.
With geography, we are looking forward more right now, as we have seen slowdown in US and Europe. And also, what about that H1B problem we were facing last quarter?
Yeah. See, the H1B is a reality, right? So it's the green card bumper is hitting all of us. So, in the sense, a lot of employees get their freedom to look out for better opportunities and hits us, so we do that. So to your pointed question, we are now trying to backfill also with the H1Bs, and we are also changing the strategy from not just India-centric, but try and see if we can get people from other countries as well. It's been working. Say, for example, Australia or Canada, where the norms are easier for us to get into US, we are now looking at those options. Plus, even on our H1 quota, we got some 60 or 70, which we are now, trying to see how we can get them across quickly to strengthen our onshore base. But on your question on focus geographies, Harpreet, as we are focusing on India, ASEAN, Middle East, which is more closer to India, we are also strengthening US and UK, because as I said in my opening comments, we see an opportunity, because when the big boys are all hurt, there's a lot of traction for inquiries are coming to us, where customers are looking for cheaper options. Customers are looking to optimize their own cost, and if they can get some reliable players. So we are very bullish about US and UK. In fact, the next 2 quarters, we want to overly focus on US and UK. In fact, including myself, I'm going to lead from the front. I'm going to kind of work more personally in US, UK. And also we are trying to see how to explore, onboard more sales partners as well, Harpreet, because to manage the costs for us, we are also trying to see how to put together a sales partner program for our platforms and products, and consultative sales organizations to support us in the sales as well. We are working through a massive channel program as well to beef up sales in US and UK.
Thanks, Thompson. There are 2 more questions. I've seen so much of hiring happening in BPS space, more of into the call center space. So are we not distracting from the main core business of 3i, which we are trying to get in? And also, any plan to raise the capital since we are doing so many investments?
2 questions, and a great question. The BPS space, our interest in this, Harpreet, is because BPS, in my understanding, it's the downstream of an automation or application. If you look at it, if I look at straight through processing in any, we talk about it in a bank, say for example, straight through processing is, let's say, 62%, 38% is the fallout. And the 38% becomes the BPO organization. So the way we look at it is that that's a great opportunity for us to learn and automate. So what we've done is we have picked up strategically certain BPO deals. So what is happening? I agree with you. It's a game we are playing because it's lift, shift, and transform. So at the moment, it hurts our denominator, if I may look at it. But it's a great opportunity for us to lift, shift, and then automate. Is what we have kind of done that. But we are keeping a very close watch on that. Harpreet, you're absolutely right. And we're also trying to keep them in a separate buckets, so that it doesn't get mixed up with our core engineering capability, which we are building.
So Harpreet, just to add to that point, if you see our Q1 numbers, the headcount for BPS is more or less, the same as the previous Q4 numbers. So in fact, we have grown by about 200 headcount for the June quarter period, but BPS has been the same. So on a nutshell, our net headcount is moving in the digital and the grow and the build space.
Sure. Just wanted to check, because I saw many of hirings ads in Naukri.com on a weekly basis, I would say. So
those are more of a replacement kind of stuff, Harpreet.
Yeah, replacement. No, it's a good observation
yeah.
Because we also won 2-3 deals in India, for example.
Okay.
And the deals were structured as value deals, in the sense we have committing optimization to them, Harpreet, and they have come to us basically because we're a technology company. Otherwise, they could have gone to any classic BPO company, right? They come to us because they say, okay, fair enough, guys, you're saying all this, make it happen for us. Okay, you take 200 people and make it 150 in 6 months and 100 in 1 year. So those are some of the challenges you're taking up, Harpreet. We'll have to figure out how to make it happen.
Sure. And what about raising a capital?
Oh, absolutely. We are, because we are waiting for our deal to conclude, and we are kind of concluding the deal with Accenture, and we have to raise capital for sure. And the next maybe the 2 quarters will be to focus on how to raise fresh capital, because we cannot sustain our growth story with whatever limited what we are having right now. So we have to raise capital and need all your support.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
All the
Harpreet.
very best.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. If you have any questions, Harpreet, further questions, you can please join the queue. We move to the next participant, Mr. Radhakrishnan. Please go ahead, unmute yourself and ask a question.
Hi, good morning to all of you. And Mr. Thompson and others, thank you for having given me this opportunity to join this call. First, personal question to Mr. Thompson. Since you have joined this company as CEO for the last 1 year, how is your personal experience with this company? The other questions, can I put it to once for all, or should I wait for your response?
Well, I'll respond this, Mr. Radhakrishnan, because see, for me personally, this is like an entrepreneurship opportunity, because very early in my career, I used to be an entrepreneur, then went back to corporate life. The way I look at 3i, in fact, when I signed up also, is a great opportunity to be an entrepreneur here, because unless you work like an entrepreneur, it's extremely difficult to turn around a company where we have multiple, you have a legacy of the past, and we have to kind of manage the current and, keep focused on the future. So personally, it has been exciting. And in fact, now we are bringing more similar like-minded people. As a culture itself, we are building entrepreneurship, because that's the only way we can, survive and thrive.
Okay, so nice. Thank you to hear the same. Have you brought any of your previous team members to the company?
No, absolutely, Radha. See, today what's happening to attract talent also, if you look at it, the brand is very important, right? As we are building the 3i brand, today the brand are individual leadership brands only. So including people joined for Thompson, and Thompson has brought a few brands, their people joined for those brands today. I wish now in at least another 1 or 2 quarters, we'll become a bigger brand. Then we don't need Thompson as a brand to attract talent.
That's good, but still you have your team members in the team.
Agree with it. So we have brought people, right from my Tatas to even my olden Hewlett Packard to Vodafone. So the multiple people I have brought in to help us out. Yeah, because that's the only way we can build this organization quickly.
Great, good to know about it. My other questions, would like to know about the subsidiary. So since March, how many of the subsidiaries have been closed, and what would be our strategy going forward as far as the subsidiaries are concerned? Because I understand I have been following this company quite closely since last 5-6 years. So subsidiaries have always been a challenge for 3i Infotech. So I would like to know what's your strategy going forward, maybe in another 2 quarters or 3 quarters by March 2023, how the situation is going to be.
Great question. I'll kind of underline the strategy, and I know Sanjay can chip in with more specifics. In fact, yesterday we had an audit committee meeting exactly in this aspect you're asking me, Radhakrishnan, reviewing the overall strategy around this, subsidiaries. We had roped in Big Four KPMG to help us in this, and they are working on the subsidiary rationalization, optimization, or even closure based on various intercompany, because we have a huge legacy of almost 10-15 years, and we can't just like that fix that. Simple answer to your question is, we have divided into this run, grow, and build, as you know. So the run is what we inherited, this new 3i inherited. This includes all these old subsidiaries. So that we are now trying to, figure out how to close down some of them and, merge some of them or whatever. I'll allow Sanjay to expand a little more on that. With the grow and build, we want to set up the new subsidiaries, which are fresh. Say, for example, which is focused on the strategy. It is focused on the strategy of how we want to go forward, how we want to create the IPs and valuation for it. So that's the way forward. So that we are, even KPMG is advising on that. But we have to fix the past before we also start going on the way forward. Sanjay, you want to kind of...
Thanks, Arjun, for this question. For in this first half period of the year, we have closed down one subsidiary, to be very specific, in Malaysia, which has been more of a dormant. So what we have done is through the KPMG exercise, I mean, we have involved KPMG to kind of support us. We are analyzing which of the existing subsidiaries we can merge, given our ongoing future strategy in terms of our run, grow, and build model. depending upon the focus that we want to have on those territories. Like in the APAC region, we want to have more focus given the tax subsidies that we have in Singapore. Likewise, a lot of entities we have in Africa, which are dormant. So those are the first steps to get closed. For example, in South Africa or Kenya. So these are all aligned. So I would say that in the next half, because see, what will happen is, one is the operating closure decision, which we have already taken. Second is to get into a legal closure, we need to get all the other aspects, even tax clearance and all that stuff going down. So I would say in the next 1 year, till June, I would say June 23, we should have most of our dormant subsidies closed in Africa and other territories. So we'll have only the operating entities in the run in our run organization, which will continue, which is primarily.
How many are operating subsidiaries?
So we have, see, US and UK we have in the Middle East, 3 subsidiaries. We have in APAC now 4. Okay. And in India, we have, you're aware of what we have in India. We have 3.
So those will continue because they are revenue generating subsidiaries. They will continue. All others will shut down.
So this running subsidiary which you are talking about, 3 and 4, 7 would get closed by next June 2023?
See, most of it will get closed. See, these are all dependent upon how we get.
No, I think his question.
No. So the non-operating dormant ones that you're speaking about, right?
Dormant ones will get closed.
No, dormant, you have already replied saying that will get closed. It will not have any challenge as such because they are dormant. I'm talking about the 7 subsidiaries which have got that balance sheet impact on us.
That will remain. You want to answer that? No, that will anyway remain as part of the subsidiary.
So this 7 will continue. That's what you mean to say.
Because that is part of the business strategy also, right? Say for example, US will continue, Inc will continue, UK we are running it, Middle East we have 3 will continue. Okay, India we have Infotech, CSL, BPO will continue, right? And then ASEAN we have Thailand, Malaysia we have the new one where the Singapore will continue because anyway there are current revenues and customer contracts are there.
Okay, great. And after the scheme of arrangement, Mr. Thompson, earlier our balance sheet net worth was negative. So now is it completely a positive impact on our balance sheet? Everything has been set right?
No, earlier also our net worth has been positive, Mr. Alex. If you have a look, what has happened is, our equity base has now come down with the scheme of capital. But overall, our net worth is positive. If you can see our 31st March balance sheet as well.
Yeah, I mean to say the reserves and surplus was negative, amounting to around 1,500 crores, if my memory is correct. So after reducing the capital and passing on that impact, what is the total impact on the balance sheet, which I could not figure it out from the sheets which have been shared.
If you can open, I'll just open my, the March balance sheet.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, just I'll let you
kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, meanwhile, you want to take another question?
Yeah, that's nice. So I also know that we have got a lot of clients, good clients in US, right?
Yeah.
So the present high inflation, increase in rate, high economical, situation conditions, how well we are placed? Are we going to face the same similar problems again?
I think I tried answering it in the previous one because there are headwinds, Mr. Radhakrishnan, no running away from it. There are headwinds. And we are all fighting in the same, market. But we see a ray of hope there because, as I said, a lot of customers are now looking for the tier 2, tier 3 partners. The share of revenue they want to change. They want to take it from the tier 1 and give it to the tier 2. Okay. So we are seeing that trend because on some of their not so core engagements, okay, they are ready to, look at people like us. And we are seeing that trend. And even in our existing customers, our share of wallet is growing.
Oh, that's great.
Typically, they wouldn't have given it to me. Say, for example, he would have used me as a testing partner, right? He wouldn't give me cybersecurity operations, as an example, I'm telling. So today, because of the pressure, I've got a cybersecurity operations, line of business in a large customer, which let's say where we coexist with a big tier 1 player. So we are slowly getting, that share of wallet. So we have to stay focused and keep at it, and we will we will gain is what I'm sensing very strongly.
Great. Have you lost any customer, Mr. Thompson, in the last 6 months?
See, so far so good. See, the good and bad, I'll tell you, for us is in US, because since we are predominantly a product company before the sale, okay, so it was all products driven, and services was also like an also business. So we were there in multiple customers. We had small statement of work sitting out there. So now for us, we have not lost customer logos per se. Maybe you didn't grow. You was just sitting as it idle. Now we are seeing an opportunity to kind of, expand it.
As far as the service level customer contracts are concerned.
Exactly.
Mr. Radhakrishnan, sorry to interrupt, but I think there are few more participants. Can we take your questions later? Your follow-up.
To answer, Radhakrishnan, I'll just answer to your point. If
Yeah.
you can refer to the annual report, page number 98, okay, wherein we have the equity data for the standalone. It shows an 850 crores, the total equity number. So it is, our net worth is positive.
Positive how much, sir?
It's overall the total equity is 850 crores.
Total equity is 850 crores. And reserves and surplus?
Both equity, total I'm saying.
Total, you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, that is my last question. Yeah, related to this. Since we have become positive, so is there a possibility of someone acquiring the company? Are we into any type of such negotiations or something?
No, not yet, Mr. Radhakrishnan. I'll tell you very honestly, our focus is now to get the business rhythm. Okay. The first focus is to get predictable business, predictable profitability. Because before that, nobody will be interested to talk to us also. Even today, the first question somebody is going to ask me is, Thompson, can you confirm operating margins to be positive for the next 4 quarters? So predictable. So I think we are in that journey, if you ask me. At least we are 2-3 quarters away before where we can even stand up and talk to anybody, if you ask me.
Okay, great. So the last one, what is the total employees count and what is the attrition rate as of now, sir?
See, we're close to around 5,000. See, attrition, we have been, more or less similar. Annualized is around 28%. Okay, some of the BPO divisions might be higher. But, so that's broadly it. So, in fact, now what we are seeing today is we are also trying to, our attrition has come down. And our ability to attract talent also is now increasing slowly, because some of the tier ones are tightening the noose on, say, 100% work from office. And we have been trying to attract by 50-50.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, and wish you good luck. And we as an overall team hope that a bright future is ahead of us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Radhakrishnan. Highly appreciate. If you have any further follow-up questions, you can please join the queue. Moving on, sir, we've got some questions in the chat box from Mr. Dharmesh Haria. Is the ratio mix of onshore, offshore employee changing?
Yeah. So it's a good question. We have done that because, see, traditionally, as I said, it's also linked to Mr. Radhakrishnan's question in terms of the type of business we do. Since post carve out, we were a more, what do I say, also did services business. So we had onshore, offshore, not really in the type of mix which any other large tier ones will have. So we have to focus on working on it. Second thing, we need to focus on the real offshoring mix as well. The offshoring mix is not very conducive. If you look at our gross margins are less, basically because our onshore is high. So that's the reason. So that's a focus we are now trying to see how to change the offshoring mix or a nearshoring mix. So that is a clear focus area for us. Thank you, sir.
And the second question is, are we optimistic about 1,000 crores target in FY 23-24?
No, for sure. Already, I think I've stood up and given my first commitment saying we will hit 760 crores outlook we are given. And in fact, we want to take more stronger targets. But the only problem we are facing is some of these headwinds which are there. We'll have to figure out how to overcome some of these headwinds. But we are going towards that target for sure. We want to run towards that target of 1,000 crores. Yeah, at least we want to grow by minimum 20% on our 760, if you ask me, as a must-do number. Even as I said, we'll exit with 760 with 100 crores order book, which itself is almost like 860. And if we can, convert more, we should hit around 900. So that's a focus we want to keep at.
Thank you, Thompson, sir. Moving on to the next participant, Mr. Sanjot Khare, please unmute yourself and go ahead and ask a question.
Thank you, Thompson, and thank you, Sanjay, for organizing this. So Thompson, we have, almost 6 months back, we heard about this big deal of Bamboo Rose, and then since then there was some chat about or discussion about, there are some more big deals in pipeline. So how are you seeing the risk? Are you seeing the big deals are coming up, or no, big deal size is really reduced and we are not getting much big deals?
Yeah, Sanjot, a great question. First of all, big deal is relative statement. Bamboo Rose was a big deal for us, at least for 3i. But at least today we are saying internally, we are looking at a minimum, at least what we qualify and give credit to people is a minimum $2 to $3 million ACV, annual contract value, as a big deal. To your point, we have been able to get a lot of logos. Maybe we are not highlighting that much, but a lot of MSAs have been signed, not necessarily big deals. We've got into almost like around 24 new logos, if I may look at it, which is pretty good. And we are getting into that. 2 or 3 large deals were supposed to close in India, for the PSUs, if you look at it, sometimes they get dragged on. We are still keeping our fingers crossed. Which are sizable. Indian deals are also a little sizable. And to your question, we are also focusing more on certain farming of existing accounts, as I said. So there we are now slowly being able to discover large deals, Sanjay, because see, we were more like a, how do I say, like a third vendor in an account. Somebody's got $25 million purse. We would have been getting some currently $2 million out of it. And the tier one would be getting around, say 12, 14 million, and another niche players will get 4, 5 million each or something like that. And we are standing there at 2 million. There now we are able to get visibility of farming of these accounts because, as I said, they are ready to come to us for some of the other lines of businesses.
Okay.
They want to move from. So now what we are doing is we are focusing on a named account list, if I may look at it, Sanjay. That is the top 25, 30 accounts in the company. All of us are putting our full energy on that and trying to see how we can expand those accounts, because that's the easiest way to do that. See, the problem is there's resistance to change from them because they are profiled 3i in their minds in a certain way. Okay. And they'll say, okay, this guy is a testing company, or he's a professional services company, or they were a product company. What do they know about services? So now slowly we are changing the perceptions of our existing customers, and it is starting to pay off also, Sanjay, if you ask me.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and specifically, as you just mentioned, there are some couple of this India-based large deals which have been in discussion.
Yeah.
I think you mentioned something about some deal of 60 crore, which was supposed to be happening. So is it something now still in pipeline, or?
See, one got deferred, the big one which you're talking about got deferred, but the other one is still there in a pipeline. That's not as big as that, but it's almost like around 25, 30 crores. TCV at least, which can come in. But we have also been winning quite a few smaller deals. Like say, for example, Dhanalakshmi Bank was a very big win for us. And see, it's a psychological booster. Forget about the size of the deal. Because now what happens, typically a lot of my existing banks are now curious about it. Now they want to talk to me. Now, for example, without mentioning names, we have a statement of work, but they would have profiled 3i in such a way, oh, they're there for the last 10 years. These fellows can only do this. Now suddenly they are curious. How come these guys are buying from us? So in fact, I had a very nice conversation with an existing customer CTO. I told him in a sarcastic way, now all the new logos are more interested in us than you fellows, I said.
Yeah. Okay. Good to hear that. So Thompson, we are really, good to see about your future tech services. Really good hopes on those services. And in initial discussion, you mentioned about 5G. Some work is already you are doing, mostly POCs. I think there is no much. The revenue will come later, but more POCs kind of work may be happening. Even are you working anything on blockchain? Or is
no, we have a small blockchain team, Sanjay, because see, the problem with blockchain, what happens is that it doesn't work standalone. Blockchain has to work along with other technologies. And the bigger problem is getting use cases is a big problem, Sanjay. That's a problem. See, we have the core building blocks of blockchain. Now we are talking to some security companies, securities, or some firms to get some use cases. Because otherwise, what happens? It's very theoretical. We cannot really monetize it, in my view.
Yeah, so still, we are still in POC, but not much actually a real project, and revenue is not yet.
But on that point, I can say on the IoT side, we have some very good deals happening in Middle East.
Oh, okay.
We have progressed in IoT, especially in health tech also. Keeping my fingers crossed, hopefully we should win those deals. These are really next generation cutting edge stuff. Okay, what I keep talking about, really edge analytics, edge security, things like that, which we've been talking theoretically. We are now trying to make it happen, Sanjay.
That's great. That's great. Recently, just last week, a couple of weeks, you have launched Nure Campus, and in Nure Campus, I think already you mentioned that there are a lot of universities already using these services or the campus part. So do you see, is it something already generating revenue, or it is just again a POC is happening in the universities? And
I'll explain that for you. So Sanjay, the genesis of Nure Campus is it's part of a resident entrepreneur program. So one of the resident entrepreneurs was an entrepreneur himself. He had a running business on this education ERP, which he was selling to campuses. He and his team came and merged with us, part of the entrepreneurship program. Now, what we have done is we have taken over his existing assets as it is, that is his customers and his technology, and now we are making it Nure or cloud ready. So we are SaaSifying it.
I see.
That's the investment we put on it, and we converted his platform of Campus Lab into Nure Campus, and we are now going to market using our Nure 3i Plus cloud strategy. So that's the story.
Okay. I see. And my last question is about, we are seeing majority of the revenue is coming from US and India. That's the two major territories. Earlier 3i was having a lot of business into Middle East. Definitely, I think because of the products now. So are you seeing services business growing now in this Middle East, Africa and Europe comparatively on that?
So two parts. Middle East, we still have a strong sales presence, Sanjay. We need to capitalize it. Okay. We have a very strong go-to-market across all countries, across GCC, and we are now working on a big funnel. But currently, the business book might be less because it might be only $9 million or whatever in Middle East. But I'm hoping it will get doubled very quickly. The second thing is also Middle East is a huge Oracle captive base. Okay.
I see.
And we are also working on our Oracle positioning very, very aggressively in Middle East. That will help us because it's a huge Oracle legacy base. You know where I'm coming from. So they are very huge compared to SAP. So we are focusing on that. With regard to Africa, we are working on a very few deals. We have to be very careful also, Sanjay. So what we are doing is we are picking up World Bank or anything UN funded deals. Okay, Sanjay. And as I'm talking to you, working in a few deals in Ivory Coast, Nigeria, and Ethiopia. Keep our fingers crossed. Let's see. Once it comes, I'll come back and tell the good news to you guys.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And Europe, like UK, because still UK.
Yeah, Europe, what we are doing, Sanjay, right now, see, too many things for us. So we are super focused on UK because see, UK is like a separate entity by itself. They are totally disconnected from Europe. So we are now focusing heavily on UK. In fact, I'm talking to the various provincial folks to see if we can replicate our Malaysian stuff there in Scotland and Ireland. We are talking to them. Some subsidiaries. So UK will be a very important focus area along with the US. We want to keep it simple, not spread thin. Europe, right now, we might lie low, Sanjay, for at least 2-3 quarters. We don't want to spread ourselves right now. Anyway, it's all in a mess right now, so so we want to stay away from it.
Sure. Certainly. Thank you, Thompson. Wishing you all the best. I think I'll come back in the queue. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjay. Thank you. I highly appreciate. We'll go to the next question. I believe there was one Mr. Saju was there. We'll take Mr. Prabhu. Please go ahead with your question.
Hi, Mr. Thompson. Thanks for the opportunity again. Okay, with the looming recession in the US, this is not the best time to raise cash. So, like, do we have any backup plans in place in case, like, you are mentioning about looking at raising of cash at the later quarters of this year because of the need for cash for all the investments that is planned for the build and grow businesses.
Yeah.
So, like, yep, just some color on that. What exactly are the backup plans? And because honestly, nobody knows what's going to be the future.
No, I agree with you. No, in fact, your question is a very important input for us as a management team. We need to have a backup plan. Honestly, right now, if you ask me, we are still positive about it, and but I will take your question as a very important input, and we'll work on it and come back. But
Unfortunately, sorry for interrupting. Unfortunately, I've been I have been an investor in Infotech for the past 10 plus years. So I have seen the death spiral of the company, near escape from the death, and all those things I have gone through. Seen not only Infotech, also invested in other companies. Like staring at the death is not the best day, particularly when you don't have cash to pay your employees and all those things. So, like growth is good and everything is good, but still, running business is the most important thing, and the cash is the king. Particularly when growth is unpredictable. But what you have today is valuable thing that somehow it's not a very great money that we have in hand, but still conserving and focusing on I hope I am just.
No, absolutely, Mr. Prabhu, absolutely. Because for us, if you look at it right now, we are debt free. We don't even have any limits. We are still working on limits and all that other stuff. So touch wood and God's grace, we have been doing well. We've been having a very powerful collection engine. We're keeping the cash flow on. But to your point, with recession hitting, we are already seeing cash flow and rotation slowly, becoming challenging.
Yeah. So to answer to that, also to add to what Thompson is saying, we're also working on our process improvement in terms of improving our DSC cycle. Because segmenting it further between government, non-government, and seeing how we can improve our unbilled cycle. So the entire, I would say, the throughput cycle between
invoice to cash.
I would say getting your revenue recognition to your cash. So that entire engine is actually going to an entire revitalization. So once that happens, also that's counting on improving our cash balance.
The raising of the capital. Yep, that's the point that I was actually trying
to. Raising of our capital is still, like Thompson was saying in an earlier note as well. We would take that decision somewhere in Q4, by the end of Q4.
Yeah. Because our first priority, Mr. Prabhu, is to get our, operating rhythm in place. Absolutely. Once we have the operating rhythm, raising will not be a problem.
Okay, so the plan is to get the operating rhythm, get cash flow positive consistently, then only
Absolutely.
You are planning for.
Absolutely, because that is very important for us. I think that's a first business KPI for us to get that predictability.
Okay, so we are confident of whatever we plan, whatever you announced, so that the plan will continue, and once we are sure that the cash flow positive is consistently across a few quarters, only then we plan to raise cash. Can we just?
Absolutely. And I'll come back to all you guys to support us.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you, Mr. Prabhu. In the interest of time, we'll just quickly take a few more questions. There is one with Thompson sir, one gentleman by the name Mr. Mohit, who wanted to check by when can we expect 100 crore EBITDA.
I know it's always a kind of a target which I set for myself very, very clearly. When I joined, I was very optimistic because as an outsider, you set a goal for yourself. On day one, I set a goal saying that I will do 1,000 crores, 100 crores in 3 years. But once you take stock, you have to get more realistic. But for me, I think we will hit that goal. Initially, we said when I started in the 3-year mark will be 100 crore. But I think we will still strive for it. But for sure, we will hit it in maybe we'll take another 6 months to 9 months. That's my sense from where we set ourselves initially.
Thank you, Thompson sir. I believe Mr. Radhakrishnan do you have any question?
Yeah,
Because
the last one.
we can take one last question perhaps before we close.
Yeah. Mr. Thompson would like to know what is the status of SCB holders, bond holders as of now, and those SCB holders who got converted into equity, are they still continuing with us or the shares have been sold?
Bond is all done.
That's all done. That's all been, closed, Mr. Alakrishnan.
Okay. There is no FCB holders as of now.
Nothing.
Because see, part of the deal itself, after the deal cash itself, all this has been sorted out. So,
Okay. So
yeah.
since there is no promoter as such right now, this is my question again related to my earlier question. So how are you, giving the confidence to us that this company is going to continue as it is and what you are, giving the promise of a performance, or is there a vulnerability for others to acquire it from the market and take the company?
No, see, definitely, if you look at it from a vulnerable perspective, you're right, because we don't have a promoter, because that is obvious. But even for us, I think the first milestone is, as I said, it's all interlinked, the way I look at it. We need to get that operational rhythm of profitability. And that is the tipping point in my mind. See, once you're able to generate positive cash and an operating rhythm of predictability, then you're both vulnerable as well. Because then you might have, people.
Positive vulnerable.
Yeah. You will be vulnerable as well. And so either you raise cash and all the other conversations we have has to happen at that point of time, if you ask me.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Thompson, sir. Thank you, Mr. Radhakrishnan. We'll keep that as our last question in the interest of time. I hand the floor over to Thompson, sir, and Sanjay, sir, for their closing comments. And we look forward to meeting all of you in future meetings like this. Thompson, sir, over to you.
Thanks, Snyder, and thanks everybody. And it was a fantastic conversation. I think it was, and it's very comforting and very encouraging for us and for me and the team as well, because it's very nice to see all of you are very closely following us on our progresses, and very keen to also understand how your company is performing. And it's been an extremely encouraging conversation, and thank you all. And we should have more such conversations, Snyder, and where we should kind of build on this.
Yeah, thanks all. And probably we'll be able to give some kind of a handout as an investor deck. For you to go through in future, so that once we have a call, I think you're already prepared to see what we have in store for today and for in the near future.
Yeah.
Thank you once again to the management and the leadership team of 3i Infotech, and all you lovely participants. We look forward towards your participation in our next call. Thank you and have a great day.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Sanjay. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.